Welcome to Building Teams Through Communication and Partnerships. Teamwork has become critical to safe, quality care. We are in a healthcare era in which teams are accountable for patient outcomes. Team communication is the bedrock of safe, quality care. In our society, emphasis is often placed on individual achievement. However, we still need individuals to work together to achieve goals that one person alone would not be able to achieve. To create and sustain teams that are able to function effectively in complex healthcare environments, it is important to understand what a team is, the different types of teams, when it is appropriate to create a team, and how to best utilize teams in the delivery of quality care. So what's the difference between groups and teams? Well, a group is a number of individuals assembled together or who have a unifying relationship. Groups could be the parents in an elementary school, all members of a specific church, or all the students in the School of Nursing. The members of these various groups are related in some way to one another by definition of their involvement in a certain endeavor. A team, on the other hand, is a number of individuals who work closely together toward a common purpose and are accountable to one another. Not every group is a team, and not every team is effective. A group of people does not constitute a team. A team is a group of interdependent individuals who seek out opportunities to combine their expertise to achieve common goals. It has a high degree of interdependence geared towards the achievement of a goal or a task. Teams have defined objectives, ongoing relationships, and a supportive environment, and are focused on accomplishing specific goals. So when you start your work in a collaborative practice setting, you will identify what it's like to work within a team, within the interdisciplinary team. A number of teams or types of teams exist, each fulfilling a distinct purpose. As a first step, it is important to decide whether a team is required to reach a specific goal or address a specific issue. Often we create teams without a clear mandate, specific goals, or team roles. As a result, an effective team of individuals, no matter how knowledgeable, creative, and productive, can fail. Understanding the types of teams can be helpful in deciding which team approach is most appropriate. So in manager-led teams, the manager is the team leader and controls the agenda, directions, decisions, and outputs of the team. In a self-managing team, the manager sets the overall direction and defines the goal and the outcome for the team, and the members of the team determine the direction, strategies, and focus of the team to achieve the goal. A self-directed team is whereby the manager identifies the outcome and the team members determine the direction, strategies, methods, and focus to achieve the outcome. Often these teams function in quality improvement initiatives to address specific quality challenges and opportunities. And lastly, the self-governing team is a team of or a collection of individuals who come together to create something new or address an opportunity or challenge. The team determines appropriate membership, sets its own direction, defines the outcome, and then manages the team performance and outcomes. The terms management team and leadership team are often used interchangeably in the literature and in organizations, but there is, however, a distinct difference. Management teams focus on operational issues such as described above, although leadership teams tend to focus on creating a strategic vision and working with teams to achieve this vision. Each of these types of teams is appropriate and often used in healthcare organizations. Teams are essential to quality patient care. Nurses, physicians, dietitians, social workers, case managers, pharmacists, and physiotherapists, to name but a few, must work together to provide high-quality, cost-effective care for patients. This means that healthcare providers must understand the various roles and educational backgrounds of each discipline. Two types of teams, interdisciplinary teams and interprofessional teams, are common in healthcare settings. An interdisciplinary team comprises members from different clinical disciplines who have specialized knowledge, skills, and abilities. They often work alongside one another and may or may not collaborate closely on patient care. Much of the care in hospitals is delivered through interdisciplinary teams. For example, nurses, surgeons, and physiotherapists work together to address the complex needs of a patient receiving postoperative care after orthopedic surgery. Each healthcare provider on the team has a specific role in patient care, often has their own approach, and may or may not meet together with other team members to discuss a patient's plan of care. An interprofessional team comprises different healthcare disciplines working together towards common goals to meet the needs of a patient population. Team members divide the work based on their scope of practice. They share information to support one another's work and coordinate processes and interventions to provide a number of services and programs. Studies of interprofessional teams have identified positive outcomes for clients, such as lower readmission rates, higher improved self-care. Healthcare providers have higher rates of job satisfaction and retention in the workplace, and the healthcare system has cost savings associated with improved patient and healthcare provider outcomes, and the academic learning community through education and practice partnerships to support student learning. So a lot of important things go into great interprofessional teams. Lastly, the Center for Interprofessional Education developed the Interprofessional Care Competency Framework. And we've discussed this before, and the framework addresses 6 domains: the patient, client, family, and community-centered care, communication, role clarity, conflict, team functioning, and collaborative leadership. And all of these are needed to ensure appropriate and successful interprofessional health collaboration. So highly effective teams have 5 main characteristics. They have trust in each other, they debate positively. So conflict is not bad, as we've discussed before. Conflict is important sometimes to get to the end goal. They are mission oriented, meaning they have a mission and they have a goal. They are results focused, and they work within and sustain a culture of leadership. So let's talk about team development. When individuals come together in a group, they spend considerable time in group processes or social dynamics, which allows the group to advance towards becoming an effective team and achieving set goals. Moreover, when a team begins to develop, it is essential to establish ground rules for the team, as well as build trust in the team, both of which are essential to collaborative creativity in achieving the desired goals. So let's talk about in-groups and out-groups. Most of us want to be valued and recognized by others as a member of the team, one who knows or understands. Most people want to be at the core of decision-making, power, and influence. In other words, they want to be part of the in-group. And researchers have demonstrated that those who feel a part of this group cooperate more, work harder, and are more enthusiastic and effective as a member of the team. Team members need to get to know one another to feel part of the team. Therefore, it's important to take the time at the formation of a new team to create group cohesion through clearly defined roles, group norms, ground rules, and team charters. Power. Everyone wants to feel a sense of control over their work environments. A component of that control is power. And each effective team members learn to use their power to bring about behaviors and strategies that support team goals. So remember, we talked about power in a few lectures back. Using, developing, and being appreciated for skills and resources. Each member of the team has unique skills and resources to bring to the team's goals and tasks. An effective and knowledgeable team leader is key to ensure that each team member feels recognized, encouraged, and utilized to the fullest potential. When team members do not feel their skills are used, they are more prone to be in the out group, which can lead them to feel disengaged from the team and the workplace. Ground rules and team charters. One of the most helpful tools in team development is to have team members come to an agreement about the ground rules concerning their relationships with one another. Ground rules are the foundation rules of the game that focus on both team dynamics and processes. An essential success factor for these team agreements is the willingness of members to be accountable for upholding the agreements and to give feedback when the agreements have been violated. Without rules, people have implicit permission to behave in any manner they choose, such as with anger, hostility, and unprofessionalism. Trust. Trust can be a major concern among team members, and one of the first questions to come up often concerns what trust will look like in the team. Trust is fundamental to well-functioning teams. Leaders model trust through behaviors such as setting the ground rules and agreements by which the team will function and holding themselves and the team members accountable. Trust is probably the most delicate aspect within relationships and is influenced far more by actions than by words. So let's look at the qualities of a team member. A good team member is honest and straightforward. The team member will tell others what's what, regardless of whether it is good news or bad news. Number 2, a person who shares the load. The team member completes the work assigned and pitches in to help others. Reliable. The team member can be trusted and looked upon as a valued and important member of the team. Fair. The team member gives credit and takes credit as appropriate. Complements other skills. The team member brings out and supports others' strengths and abilities. Number 6, a person with good communication skills. The team member utilizes a professional, goal-oriented approach to all communication. And lastly, a person with a positive attitude. The team member looks at error as opportunity and keeps a realistic but positive attitude. Teams function with varying levels of effectiveness. Effective teams are ones in which people work together to produce results and achieve a common goal that could have not been achieved by any one individual. This phenomenon is often described as synergy. How do we create synergy? Creating synergy requires a clear purpose. Each member of the team must understand the reason the team is together, determine what they each wish to accomplish, and express their belief in both the value and feasibility of the goals and tasks. Team functions best when the members can tell others about their purpose, as well as define and operationalize succinctly the meaning and value of this purpose. So you need to have a clear purpose, active listening, compassion, telling the truth, being flexible, and committing to the resolution if there's a problem. What kills synergy? Synergy cannot occur when one team member becomes a self-proclaimed expert who has the right answer. Nor can synergy occur when people refuse to communicate. Each team member has good ideas, and these need to be shared. They are not shared, however, when someone does not feel valued. It can be difficult to speak up if you fear appearing wrong or inadequate. The challenge each person faces is to push through discomfort and become a full participant in problem identification and resolution for the overall benefit of the team. So what is the value of team building? Well, one is to establish goals and objectives in decision-making approaches. Another could be to build relationships among people doing the work. And the other one is it's important for individuals in a team to clearly understand what's required with respect to performance expectations and team outcomes. So that's the value of team building. So let's talk about conflict in teams. When thinking about conflict, it is helpful to realize that conflict is fundamental to the human experience and is an integral part of all human interaction. To create an environment that allows for conflict management, a number of contextual factors must be in place. Number 1 is the singleness of mission. Every team must have a purpose, that is a plan, an aim, or an intention. However, the most successful teams have a mission, some special work or service to which the team is 100% committed. The mission and purpose of the team must be clearly understood and agreed to by all. Willingness to cooperate. Just because a group of people has a common reporting relationship within an organization does not mean that the members are a team. In effective teams, members are required to work together in a respectful manner. Commitment to the project. Commitment is a state of being compelled by one's passion for and dedication to a project or an event. In other words, people go to the extra mile because of their commitment. And then commitment to the resolution. Being committed to a resolution means that team members are dedicated to finding a workable response to a problem. It means that there is a willingness to hear and listen to others' perspectives, identify similarities and differences, and creatively seek solutions to resolve the areas of difference to reach a common ground. So let's talk about communication. The only thing humans do more often than communicate is breathe. Communication is the most important component of daily activities, is essential to clinical practice, to building teams, and to leadership. A person cannot be without communication. So let's talk about the positive communication model. When human beings are in distress, disengaged, or have an emotional reaction to a situation or the actions of another, a conditioned response is to move into one or all of the following: to blame, to judge, or demand. With effort and practice, it is possible to create a positive communication interaction that produces a significantly improved outcome. First of all, when individuals are reacting at the feeling level, they tend to move unconsciously to blame. By taking accountability for these feelings, one can move out of blame and own one's feelings by stating, "I feel." Likewise, when individuals are trapped in distress or reaction at the thinking level, they most often turn to judgment. By thinking compassionately, one can dismantle the judgment and state what one thinks in a compassionate way by saying, "I think." Finally, when in distress, we make demands that are often unreasonable. By calming oneself, one can find respect for the other human being and make a request by saying, "I want." Let's talk about communicating during conflict. This framework has been proposed to help guide effective communication during conflict. It's called STLC. Stop, think, listen, communicate. Stop. As we communicate with others, we need to realize that the primary focus is not only the message we wish to deliver, but also the feelings and emotions we have related to the topic or discussion. In any communication, but especially in difficult situations, the ability to stop, and take time out to consider the situation can prevent an interaction that you will regret. This strategy can be an effective way of de-escalating a situation by calling a timeout and reconvening at a later time. Think. Thinking is about analyzing a situation and how you want to respond. There are 3 approaches noted for this step. You can 1. Try to change the person, 2. Change the situation, or 3. Change yourself. Knowing the communication goals you wish to reach is fundamental to this stage of the framework. Identifying those goals will help you choose which of the approaches to engage in. Listening. This step is the most challenging. As another person begins to speak, we automatically begin to mentally prepare our response. In doing so, we miss vital pieces of the other person's message. True listening is a learned skill and provides a means for connecting with the other person. Giving your complete attention to the conversation and the other individuals engaged in the conversation is critical. Eye contact, positive nonverbal messages, and remaining open to understanding the other person's perspectives are important activities that support listening. Lastly, communication. There are 2 approaches to communication: linear and transactional. In the linear approach, the focus is on the goals, purpose, and intention of the message. In the transactional approach, the focus is on the process of communication, that is, what and how we communicate with one another. The transactional approach can be very effective in resolving conflict because it considers that the conflict is not one-sided, but as a result of behaviors of each person. And it's suggested that communication is like a dance. Individuals need to engage and partner with each other to achieve a goal. So let's look at factors that can hinder effective communication. The first one is stress. There's a strong connection between stress and self-worth that can evolve as a result of a breakdown in communication. So if there's a breakdown in communication, sometimes it leads to feelings of a lower self-esteem or an attack on someone's self-worth. And so I want to talk a little bit about the stress response model. When a threat is identified, the receiver often reacts in one of these communication patterns like we've discussed before. You might blame the individual, you might start judging, you may start demanding. And what we need more than anything is that congruent communication. And that occurs when the verbal and the nonverbal actions fit the inner feelings of the sender and are appropriate to the context of the message. This communication pattern creates the kind of connection between the sender and the receiver that fosters respect, support, and creation of relationships. Next, I want to talk about communication barriers and communication pitfalls and some guidelines. So, a number of communication barriers can interfere with clear, focused, and effective communication. Distractions. Distractions most commonly come through sensory perceptions such as poor lighting or background noise. Email and overly heavy workloads can also be distracting. Inadequate knowledge. The sender and receiver may have different levels of knowledge, particularly in this time of highly specialized and technical knowledge bases. For multiple reasons, one person may not seek clarity from the other person. Poor planning. The process of organizing, planning, and clearly thinking through what needs to be communicated is very helpful. If the interaction is more spontaneous, it can more easily fall into a non-rhythmic pattern. Differences in perception. Both the sender and the receiver have their individual mental filters, the way in which they see the world. Because of this individuality, no two filters are the same. Thus, the same message is interpreted differently. Add to this, for example, social, cultural, ethnic, and educational differences, and it is easy to see how differences in perception can occur. Emotions and personality. Someone who is experiencing distress may not be able to receive another message or may have difficulty keeping their emotions out of the unrelated message. Most individuals at some point bring distress or problems from home to the workplace. If these remain unconscious, they can influence the work setting in a negative or non-productive way. So what are some common communication pitfalls? Effective communication suggests that the interaction is a rhythmic pattern that is respectful and clear, promotes trust, and encourages the expression of feelings and viewpoints. On the other hand, pitfalls in communication compromise actions, behaviors, and words that can create distrust and are dishonoring and decrease the feelings of self-worth in the receiver. And so here are some common pitfalls: giving unsolicited advice, making others appear wrong, defensiveness, judging another person, patronizing, giving false reassurance, constantly asking why questions, and blaming others. A number of communication tools can help individuals communicate effectively. And this one you are familiar with, the SBAR, and you can actually use it in your team functioning as well. So it's the Situation Background Assessment Recommendation, and it's a standardized approach to communication often used in healthcare settings to convey clinical information from one caregiver to another. So the purpose of communication tools is to create an environment in which the communicator can achieve the desired outcome. And so it's important to keep in mind that active listening, being compassionate, telling the truth, and being flexible are essential to the process of communicating effectively. So understanding your role on the team. The first thing is to use active listening. Active listening means being completely present with and focusing on the individual who is speaking. It means listening to the essence of the conversation without judgment so you can understand the speaker's intended message. Being compassionate. Being compassionate means showing concern for another person. Being compassionate means showing concern for another's position and perspective. It means listening from a caring perspective, one that is focused on understanding the viewpoint of the other rather than focusing on one's own point of view. Telling the truth. Telling the truth is a strength of character that allows a person to express their position in an honest and fact-based manner. Telling the truth means speaking factually and consistently to express facts, feelings, and perspectives while acknowledging that they are those that you hold to be true. One important component of telling the truth is respecting the perspectives of others while remaining true to your core values and beliefs. And this is accomplished in an objective rather than a subjective manner, using neither a cynical nor a critical tone of voice. To be effective, we must be responsible for our integrity and our behaviors in our actions with others. And lastly, being flexible. Being flexible reflects a willingness to hear another person's point of view rather than being solely committed to only one point of view. Flexibility is critical for a team to work well together. No single person has all the right answers. Therefore, acknowledging that each person has something to contribute is important. So, managing emotions. Emotions within a team can be very positive or very challenging for team members. Critical to team success is understanding the role emotions can play. Emotional intelligence is core to team success. And as you recall from previous lectures, there are 4 domains of emotional intelligence. These are self-awareness, the ability to recognize one's own strengths, weaknesses, values, and goals and their impact on others. Self-management, emotional self-control and adaptability to situations. Social awareness includes empathy and organizational awareness. And relationship management includes the ability to work in a team and manage conflict as well as to coach and mentor. Being a reflective practitioner is imperative to team success. The process of reflective practice consists of the active, careful consideration of a belief or knowledge and can derive from learning from experience. Using reflective process allows the team members to see the world differently, and as a result of these new insights, maybe see the work world differently, which can translate into acting differently. So reflective practice is a time to look inward and examine those beliefs, values, and behaviors. The opportunity for growth is when we identify specific behaviors to enact differently and make a commitment to actually enact them differently. Bringing issues to the conscious level is the first step in personal and professional growth. Mindfulness and compassion. So we've heard a lot about mindfulness in the literature. Mindfulness is an awareness that emerges by intentionally paying attention non-judgmentally in the present moment and experiencing that moment to its fullest. Compassion is physical, mental, and emotional help for self and others. Compassion is a critical competence in nursing practice. So through mindfulness and compassion and reflection, nurses and all members of the healthcare team has an opportunity to create workplaces that support care of self and others to achieve patient care goals. Strategies can be incorporated into teams through self-assessment, team member feedback, and team development opportunities. So what is the role of leadership in team success? Effective leaders model the way, so credibility is the foundation of leadership. It is established by consistently doing what you say you will do or by setting the example for other team members. They inspire a shared vision, imagine exciting and enabling possibilities, and enlist others in these dreams through positive attitude, excitement, and hard work. They challenge the process. They seek innovative ways to change, grow, and improve. They experiment and they take risks. They enable others to act. They foster collaboration by promoting cooperation and building trust. They create a sense of reciprocity or give and take. And they establish a sense of we're all in this together. And lastly, they encourage the heart. Novice leaders encourage their constituents to carry on. They keep hope and determination alive, and they recognize contributions and celebrate victories. So in conclusion, team building requires a commitment to the purpose of the team, mutual respect, communication and active listening, adherence to team agreements, and in the end, trust.